we're just talking. It was back in the day. If you knew somebody in Elizabeth, New Jersey, you knew somebody in Howard Beach, if in Newark, if you were an Italian American, you couldn't go to the cops a lot of the times. So
No.
you kind of had that resource, right? But the thing is, when did it stop being like that? When did it stop being kind of a community-oriented thing, and then just strictly about money?
Before my induction,
Okay.
I never was I was never a part of the life when it wasn't. You know, I was young and around people, but as far as, you know, when things were the way that they should be and the life was created for, I never even got to experience that. Even if I practiced doing it on my own, you didn't see any of that, because it was all selfishness and greed to the highest degree.
Okay. So what makes the Mafia exist even today? That, you know, we're talking, it's only a few years ago for you. So talking about an organization that has been around for 400 years, that has a lot of rituals, a lot of processes, the way they do business. And one of the things you hear about a lot is sit downs. So can you walk us through what exactly is a sit down, and give us an example or two stories of some sit downs that you were in, and did you win or lose the sit downs?
Yes. So obviously a sit down would be when is just like anything else, like a disagreement in some of some sort, right? And usually it would go like this. It could start out between a debate or argument between civilians, and I mean just regular people, and it doesn't get rectified. And what happens? Somebody goes to somebody. So they go to a cousin or a friend of a friend, and then we get involved. But there would be a counterpart to us, because now somebody else is, you know, maybe another friend's going to get involved. Could be from your own Bagada, could be from your own family, could be from another family. And if we sit down with each other and we don't rectify it, it gets kicked up, and now your capo regime or skipper will get involved with theirs. And then if that doesn't get rectified, it will go up and up. It could go to two bosses sitting down. Yes, it can keep going. I was involved in one that was before my time. Was like a 5 or 6 year sit down that was going on, and I got involved. But that's too long of a story. But the funnier ones, there was I'll tell you who it was. It was little Joey Di Benedetto, who is Vicar Musso's son-in-law, had a cousin who had a pizzeria. And he was partners with his cousin, but before they partnered, their fathers had made this business together, and it was a strange agreement. They made an agreement that if one of the partners was to pass away, everything goes to the other partner, which is kind of strange. You know, today we wouldn't do that, right? We would make sure that our families were taken care of. But anyway, this was their agreement. So when I find out about this, the other cousin has passed away. And now it was actually Joey's cousin's husband, but so let's just say Joey's cousin is having a problem, because the wife of the cousin who passed away and her brother went to a banana, right? Okay. And he went in there and was going to throw his weight around. And obviously the kid must have said the right thing. He must have said, I'm going to go talk to my friend and it was Joey. And we get involved in this whole thing. And we go to the pizzeria, and we take, it was myself, Joey, Anthony Guzzo, and we take another guy with us. And, you know, we don't know who we're meeting, what, we just know a little bit about where they're coming from, right? And we get to the pizzeria, and his I'll just for argument's sake call him Joey's cousin. Joey's cousin is there, and he starts explaining who this guy is, and they call him Little Anthony, which is Anthony Capernego,
Sure.
right? And he's a friend with the Bananos, and so we're going over this whole thing, and Joey turns to me and says, "Hey, listen, I want you to do the talking."
Yeah.
Right, which he always did to me.
And this is Vic Amuzzo's son-in-law, right?
Yes.
Yikes.
He said, "I want you to do the talk." Now Anthony and myself are like brand new. Maybe it may even be weeks or a month that we are inducted, and actually it was my very first sit down.
Interesting.
And so, but what I gathered right away was that the problem was they didn't want to know nothing about this agreement. They wanted the wife to now be a partner in this business, right? And I sat down with the cousin and I says, "Let me ask you a question. Do you have to pay like your vendors, and do you owe any money out? What's the debt in the business?" And he said, I believe it was, it was 250,000 that they owed out.
Yeah.
When they owed, the business owed out, right? So I said, "Do you have that paperwork?" And he said, yeah. I said, "Sorry, I want you to bring that paperwork to the table when we sit here." And in comes, right then, we called them later the Oompa Loompas, because they were these two little short little guys. And one was the guy I mentioned earlier with Pete Azzarello was with him. Yeah. And the other was this Anthony, they call him Anthony Cap. And the third guy with them was the wife's